Wildest.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Today, this is a conservation podcast. It's an environmental podcast. It's a science podcast. And today we're doing something that's very on brand, and we're talking about world's most protected.
And it's happy because I saw some comments like, hey, the past few ones have been a little bit of a bummer. Can we get like some happy ones? So yes, here's some happy ones. Wait.
Yours are happy?
Yeah. World's most protected.
Oh. Well, I feel like the ones that I have, like, they're most protected because they're so, like, critically endangered.
All right. I'll bring the happiness. Maya will bring the depression.
Okay. Do you want to start?
Well, I want to know when do you feel the most protected?
What?
Yeah. When do you feel the most protected?
When I'm holding a gun.
That's fair. For me, bow and arrow.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's when I feel the best.
Yeah.
No, you start us off.
Okay. All right. I'll start us off. By the way, guys, we are also on Patreon. And if you haven't already checked us out on Patreon, we would really appreciate that. It helps support the podcast, keep it afloat. We have fun bonus content on there. Today on Patreon, we will be showing each other some TikToks.
Yeah.
I'm actually really excited about that bonus episode because I have so many animal TikToks that I want to share. And I haven't had a platform to share them for quite some time.
Okay.
And I'm excited to show you. So check us out on Patreon if you want to see my favorite TikToks. They're really good.
Tier 3s get bookmarks.
Tier 3s get bookmarks from us. I usually draw the bookmarks, but this past month Connor drew the bookmark.
I tried really hard.
Pretty fire. It's actually very good.
It took me 4 hours.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I didn't want it to actually be really bad and cringe.
Wow. Okay. That's very nice of you. Sorry. I didn't realize it would take long.
No. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I just drank coffee and I had a good time.
All right. So you can check us out on Patreon if you'd like, and then like and subscribe. And if you're on an audio platform, this is the last one, I swear. If you're on an audio platform, audio listeners, hello. If you could give us 5 stars, that'd be huge. That would help us a lot on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Okay, here we go. World's most protected. My first one is the southern white rhino.
Okay.
Okay. There are 5 species of rhinos. Do you know what they are?
No.
I couldn't name them, to be fair.
I don't know.
Sumatran, Javan, black rhino, greater one-horned rhino, and the white rhino.
I knew 3 of those.
Okay, nice. So. 3 of those 5 are critically endangered. This is what global rhino populations look like right now. So white rhinos, South Africa, 15.7K individuals. Black rhinos, 6.8K individuals. Greater one-horned rhinos, 4,000 individuals.
Jeez.
Sumatran rhinos, 34 to 47 individuals. And Javan rhinos, I'm sorry, I should be saying that better. 50 individuals.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Rhino conservation is
a tough one.
It's a tough one. Here's a picture of what all the different species of rhinos look like. They all look similar. I think when you think of a rhino, like you would look at any of these and be like, yeah, that's a rhino. But they have some distinct differences. The ones that you guys will see most in the zoos, or like any rhino that you've probably seen in person, was either a black rhino or a white rhino.
Okay. Sure.
Do you know the difference between black rhinos and white rhinos?
It doesn't look like the color really matters that much. So no, I don't.
It's in their lip.
In their lip?
Yes.
Okay.
Black rhinos have a pointed lip and white rhinos have a square lip.
Wow.
It's very obvious when you it's very obvious when you look at it.
Oh. Yeah.
Isn't that cute?
That is interesting. Okay, so triangle lip, black?
Yes.
Rhino? Okay, white is straight.
White rhinos have a square lip. They're both very cute.
That's very cute.
Okay, so that's like a little rhino background, right?
Okay.
2 subspecies of white rhino. There's the southern and the northern white rhino.
Okay.
There are only 2 northern white rhinos left in the world.
Right.
This is something that's, I think, a lot of people know about because it's been all over the media. They're both female, and they're mother and daughter. There are over 15,000 southern white rhinos, though. And southern white rhinos have a really incredible conservation comeback story. So by the late 1800s, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well, yeah, the northern white rhinos, but yeah, we're talking about southern white rhinos right now. So by the late 1800s, there were only about 20 southern white rhinos left.
Wow.
And then a century later, conservation efforts boosted their numbers to about 16,000.
That's a big W.
Yep, pretty cool. Pretty cool. So they're listed as near threatened. They were in 1895, they were thought to be extinct in the late 19th century. And then they found a small population of less than 100, and then they started protecting them. The threats to rhinos, why were those numbers going down so fast? Why were there so few individuals? Because of poaching. So people poach rhinos for their horns, and there's high demand in Asia for use in traditional medicine and for like artistic carvings and displays of wealth. So it's a picture of like a bunch of trafficked rhino horns. They will literally just go out there, cut the horn off the rhino or shoot the rhino, let it bleed out, and take the horn, and that's it. And then they leave the whole rhino there, which is horrific and like so sad.
Can I do a quick tangent about, have you heard about the radioactive injections?
Yes.
Are you going to go over that?
No, not in depth.
I did a quick deep dive on that.
Okay.
What's interesting, because like most custom places are detecting for radiation. So this should give like a big alarm and flare. The only issue is it doesn't pass down between generations.
Okay, explain to them how.
Sorry, you're
what
right.
that is.
So they sedate the rhino. They come in there and then they drill just a few holes.
Who's they?
Veterinarians, conservationists, people that want to protect the rhinos. They'll drill a few tiny holes in the horns, and they will then inject a radioactive isotope into there and then plug it up. And then if those rhinos are ever like killed and poached, they have a specific radioactive isotope and they know where it came from. And they can trace that back, but also it'll just get detected through customs so much faster.
Wow.
So it devalues the horn completely. And I couldn't find out if the answer, and I don't know if they will give the answer, if that radioactive isotope is bad for people if they ingest it. And you know what? I'd be okay with it.
Yeah.
They get radiation poisoning, they need a little bit of iodine to fix it, and then they know they did something illegal, and then they get arrested.
That's crazy.
Would be nice. But I couldn't find out answers on that.
Yeah, so that is one of my notes here. There's injecting rhino horns. There's injecting horns with dye as well. That's like doesn't seem to be the strategy that people are really into. I think it helps to trace back where the horn came from, but obviously at that point, like the damage is super done. Some rhinos are dehorned to deter poachers. So the horns are like fingernails, sort of. And they can dehorn those rhinos and keep them alive. And at that point, they have no value to poachers. So there's no reason for them to kill them, which is really awesome. Also interesting, a lot of southern white rhinos in South Africa are under private ownership on rhino farms. So they're used commercially for breeding, photographic tourism, legal hunting, and horn production. So this is something that happens in conservation that's like a big ongoing conversation. And breeding on rhino farms is one of the reasons that their numbers have rebounded. So those rhino owners are on the front lines of poaching, and they spend like a bunch of money every year on private security to keep their herds safe because of how much money they make off of them. So like controversial, conservation strategy. But owners argue that a legal rhino horde trade would provide them with the income that's necessary to continue to fight poachers. It's a complicated issue. Anyway.
It's tough. I guess with the horns that they grow back and it's not painful to remove, it's better than other traditional medicine farms, but not great.
Yeah. Other things that people do to protect rhinos, there are canine anti-poaching units. So there are dogs that people take out into the bush to detect poachers and detect illegally smuggled wildlife. Very cool. And I want to do a big freaking shout out to the coolest people on the planet, the black mambas. You familiar?
No.
Black mambas are the world's first all-female anti-poaching unit.
Oh.
It's a team of young African women. They patrol 20,000 hectares within Kruger.
Okay.
Which is a national park in South Africa. And
do they carry guns?
They don't.
Oh, okay.
They don't carry guns. But they know the area very well, and they call for backup if there are poachers. They say that their strategy of not carrying guns actually helps keep them safer because people know that they don't have guns.
Right.
But anti-poaching is very dangerous.
Yeah.
Very, very dangerous work, but super important work, and they're the coolest people ever. And the Black Mambas have socials, like social media, so you can find them on social media.
That's cool.
They're awesome.
Did I ever tell you what I would do if Kayla ever died? My wife.
You would die as well.
I would go to Africa and sit in a ghillie suit all day and be on anti-poaching team.
I've never heard that.
Yeah.
Connor and his wife have a death pact.
I would
So
just
I guess that's your contribution to the death pact.
yeah,
Interesting.
for sure. But I'll be so good I won't die. It's fine. I'll just
Okay.
be out there all the time, just in the ghillie suits. Be a good time.
Okay.
I'd love it.
All right. You know, whatever you gotta do. Anyway, so southern white rhino is my world's most protected. They are out there working very hard to protect them.
That's
It's
huge.
very cool. And it's worked.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
cool.
I have a similar story, also in Africa. Mountain gorillas.
Ah.
So Diane Fossey, which, side note, did you know that she was murdered?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Really?
That's crazy.
Wow, your research must have been such a trip.
It was really
crazy,
sad.
yeah. It's a crazy story.
It's like an unsolved murder as well, but not really, but kinda.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But they still executed someone responsible for it.
I
They
didn't
said
know
they were
that.
responsible for it. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Okay.
it was interesting. Really
Well,
sucks.
Can you tell them who Diane Fossey is in case they don't know?
Yeah, Diane Fossey. I will talk about her, but
Cool.
she is a primatologist. She was big in the 60s, 70s, and a little bit into the 80s with protecting gorillas, specifically mountain gorillas.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the Diane Fossey Fund or Conservation Fund that's still going. That's doing incredible work.
They're
And
awesome. They have a really cool facility.
you talk to
there.
them, don't you? Or have talked to
they were
them?
on my podcast, yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, mountain gorillas are a subspecies of eastern gorillas where they were thought to only be a myth, but in 1902 they were discovered by like a German military guy, which was interesting.
Trip.
Yeah.
Like discovering gorillas.
1902. I mean, like that's so recent.
Yeah,
really.
that is really recent.
They were discovered in a range of extinct volcanoes that border the DRC, Rwanda, and Uganda. Really tiny spots.
Wow.
And like geographically like hard to deal with. So some quick background on mountain gorillas. They primarily eat leaves, shoots, and stems, like 84% of their diet. They're so well studied, by the way. Like they log everything.
That's awesome.
And they're all like the researchers have quite a few troops that they've habituated and they can just hang around them like within feet. And the gorillas just do their thing, and the people are just hanging out, just observing them, and just writing down notes of every little thing that they're doing.
Cool.
Which is interesting. Yeah, they'll occasionally eat fruits, barks, and insects. And according to the National Forest website, there a male mountain gorilla can eat up to 75 pounds of food a day, or 34 kilograms food a day. Which is crazy.
That is insane.
The number kind of varies, but this was that national forest there that they live in was their website. So I'm gonna trust the source. I do have my sources that I'll have in the description as well.
Wow.
They rarely drink, as most of the water comes from their food. A male can reach up to 5.5 feet or 1.7 meters tall when they're standing upright, and can weigh 440 pounds or 200 kilograms.
Sheesh.
So about the size of like tall of a male, just like but packed full of muscle.
Yeah.
A human male. So obviously these guys are endangered. They have had to survive through a lot of civil unrest and wars. They've also been hunted for body parts and sold as trophies. The really sad thing is the babies tend to get kidnapped and sold into private collections, whether that's research facilities, developing country zoos, private collections, stuff like that. There's an article that came out in the 2010s said that a poacher can make up to $40,000 per baby gorilla. And it's probably a lot more now.
Yeah.
And there were some that were seized, like 6 of them seized for like a Malaysian zoo that was buying for $1.2 million. Wow. So there's just like there's a lot of money in there.
Wow.
And the crazy thing is like when they go to kidnap these babies, oftentimes 1 or 2 or more adults will try to defend that baby, and they tend to get shot.
Right.
So you're losing more than just the baby.
Yeah.
Which really sucks. And I said this was happy. It is going to be happy, by the way. I'm getting there. So the other thing that happens is local people will set up snares for other animals in the forest to try to hunt and get food for themselves. And then these gorillas will get caught in the snares, injured or die. Local farmers also encroach land encroachment is always a big issue. But when they're farming, they tend to pass a lot of parasites through the water from the farm animals. So that's also been a huge thing that the gorillas have to overcome. I went down a deep dive on the vet side of things. I'm not going to go into it here.
Okay.
It is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
What they do on the vet side of things, because it's almost like human medicine because gorillas are so similar.
So are they doing direct contact to like medicate them?
Mm-hmm. Well, darting. I saw a lot of darting, but I didn't see. They probably are able to like leave food out with pills in them.
Sure. Wow.
For it. So
crazy.
So in the 1960s, their populations were around 400 to 500, and then in the 1980s it went down to 200.
So low.
Well, it's about to get worse. 80s went down to the 242.
Uh-huh.
And that's when things started to turn around, because there was a big catalyst there with a lot of stories, particularly coming out from Diane Fossey about the major issues with these mountain gorillas, and they're able to get a lot of money for it to establish and start fixing things.
Mm-hmm.
So Diane Fossey in the 60s and 70s, she did extensive research and advocacy for these gorillas and the people around there as well. There was a lot of tension with the local communities because how they lived. Poaching was just kind of the thing, even though the laws were like it was illegal for them to do this. They just weren't enforced. A lot of bribery, but that's like the way that they lived. And I think Diane was a little, from what I read, was a little harsh about it. And had some flare-ups in the community, and ended up happening as her favorite gorilla, Digit, was killed by a poacher, was shot in the head while trying to protect one of the young that they ended up kidnapping.
Oh my, how horrible.
And this was like her gorilla. She was writing like stories about it. Like people knew like this was like the face of her research. And I guess silver lining, once she spoke out about this, it was a huge uproar all around the world. And she was able to create the Digit Fund, which funded patrols for the areas to protect the gorillas and remove illegal snares. Because that's like the main thing that they needed to do. So jumping forward to today, over 50% of all the mountain gorilla populations are directly protected by the Diane Fossey Gorilla Fund.
Wow.
They have daily patrols to check on the gorillas and remove about 1,000 illegal snares every year.
What a feat.
Insane. They have vets who monitor the gorillas' health and their stress. They'll get poop samples. This is kind of where I did my deep dive. Poop samples to test cortisol levels and check on everything and see how they go. They work with local communities with their livestock management, because there's two things. One, livestock are healthy, your community is going to be healthy, and they're going to like you guys better too if you're helping them eat better. Yeah. But then they're going to stop passing diseases through the water and stuff like that. So
cool.
The vets also help deploy strict biosecurity measures for all the ecotourism that comes through there.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. I don't know what their financials look like or where a lot of their funding comes from, but they do ecotourism like nobody's business. Like people can go out there with guides and visit the gorillas in their natural habitat, which is crazy.
It's absurd. I had one of my old bosses did that.
It's so crazy.
And she has pictures of like her like 2 feet away.
Yeah.
And they can only approach the gorillas so much, and then the gorillas are welcome to approach, but they just ignored them.
Yeah.
It was crazy to see that. They have to wear masks because a lot of the things that the gorillas catch, or gorillas are so similar in DNA to us, so they can catch the same things. We have to worry about that with the marmosets at Alveus. But respiratory diseases often get passed, but they're getting much better, having better mask systems, and biosecurity. And that was another thing I did a deep dive, which was interesting. Yeah. So I was trying to find updated cost of like the ecotourism, like what it does cost to go there. The latest numbers I saw was about $1,500 is kind of on the low end of what you can do. And here's a picture of some tourists and a gorilla. I don't know, was that 10 feet away? Yeah. 15 maybe?
Wild.
What has been great for the local communities is by law, at least 10% of all that money made has to go back to the local communities. Yeah. They've built roads, schools, and other great infrastructure to help lift up that community that now wants to protect the gorillas
sure.
instead of using them for food or illegal trade. They've also struck a deal where the locals can selectively harvest resources inside the national park, and that has smoothed over a lot of tension there, which is
so
good.
Cool.
They also have a rehab hospital, which I think you're wanting to go see soon, right?
Not Dan Fossey.
Oh, okay. But they have a rehab hospital where poached gorillas can get re-released back out into troops, or their existing troop, or a new troop, which is huge.
For the record, I would love to go visit Dian Fossey. Connor's talking about something else. But would be very cool. I mean, I'd love to see it. I'd love to go out there. I can't imagine being that close to an ape that size, though. I'm afraid of being around wild, like squirrel monkeys.
Oh, yeah.
So.
But if you're with a guide, you're in a group. Like,
yeah,
I feel
yeah. I mean, I trust them.
Yeah.
Just crazy.
So currently, or let me take a step back. So remember, their numbers were as low as 242.
Yeah.
Currently, there are over 1,000 mountain gorillas in the wild. So, which is huge because their population is growing 3% every year.
Right.
This method has been so successful that they have moved to protect critically endangered eastern lowland gorillas in the Congo in 2012.
Yay!
So they're super well protected, and I think that's a really good model. It seemed like there was a lot they had to work through,
for sure,
and a lot of bad things, but I think they got to a really good spot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's like the model where you uplift local communities to help protect.
Yep.
And then you have 500 gorillas patrolled every single day, which is crazy.
So crazy.
That's a lot of money.
All right, I have an ape as well. Honestly, far less protected than gorillas, but we have the Sumatran orangutan. So this is a critically endangered species of arboreal ape. They live in tropical rainforests. Cool freaking animals. I know you guys know what they look like, but they look so... Like this next picture, male orangutans just look so fake.
They do.
They look so like CGI or like a costume in a movie. I don't know. They look like Bigfoot Ed Sheeran. I don't know. They're so cool looking though. They're like such special animals. So their range is super. They used to be distributed over all of Sumatra and south into Java, but now their range is restricted quite a bit. There's 9 existing populations of Sumatran orangutans. Only 7 of those have prospects of long-term viability.
Yikes.
And there are only 3 populations that have more than 1,000.
Oh.
Yeah. So they're mostly threatened by logging and palm oil and mining concessions and illegal logging and habitat loss. But palm oil is one of the big ones. And I don't know how much we've talked about palm oil on this podcast, but it's super, super important to talk about. For those of you who don't know, palm oil is the most consumed vegetable oil in the world. And it is in everything. I know when you think vegetable oil, you think like vegetable oil in a bottle that you buy at the store or something. It's not just that. Palm oil is in everything. It's in everything spreadable and more. So it is in margarine, chocolate, ice cream, bakery products, toothpaste.
Makes it creamier, right?
Yeah. And it makes it like spreadable. Like anything spreadable, really.
Yeah.
Probably has palm oil in it. It's crazy.
Yeah,
I did a palm oil reel recently with World Wildlife Fund, and I went to a grocery store and I was like, I have to find some products with palm oil in them to like show people. And I thought it would be like I would have to look them up and be like, okay, I have to go to this aisle to find palm oil. No,
so easy.
It is in every freaking aisle. It's
Makeup,
crazy.
Right?
Yes, it's in everything. It's in everything. And so the demand is obviously very, very high. Researchers have looked at the deforestation rates of palm oil. Palm oil bought by Americans alone may have caused 103,000 acres of deforestation, mostly in Indonesia. 103,000 acres. For those of you who watch the Twitch streams, Alveus is 15 acres. So that's 103,000 acres is half the size of New York City. And that's a very conservative estimate because it doesn't include a lot of manufactured products that contain palm oil. So In the Malaysian part of the island between 1973 and 2015, as much as 60% of the rainforest was cleared for palm oil plantations.
What was that timeline?
From 1973 to 2015.
Jesus.
60% lost to just palm oil. Just palm oil. And sometimes, okay, now I'm pissed. Sometimes I talk about palm oil and then there's one, maybe this isn't a misunderstanding that you have, but just to like address this off the bat. Some people have gotten confused when I talk about why it's a problem to plant palm oil plantations because they're like, but they're trees. And they're like, but you're planting trees.
I've never actually thought about that.
Yeah, and I think from a like carbon sequestration standpoint, or they think that it's okay to just like replace plant with plant, but monocrops are a problem. When you take out all of the plants in an area, there's so many different species of plants that are native to an area, and there's so many bugs that are dependent on like this very specific plant, and so many birds that are dependent on eating this specific bug that pollinates this plant. And so when you take away all the diversity in plants, or all the biodiversity in plants, you take away all the biodiversity that surrounds them as well. So when you take all those out and you plant one tree, your biodiversity is absolutely destroyed.
But you're also probably taking out 100-year-old tree that's massive, that's sequestering so much more carbon than one.
That is also a misconception that people have. Yeah, tree planting is great, and we should do it.
Right.
Like, it's good and important. But there is a fundamental misconception of, like, if you cut down a tree but then you plant a new one, all is the same. Like, it's like evened out, everything's good now.
Yeah.
Baby trees do not sequester anywhere near the same amount of carbon as an old tree.
Yep.
So protecting old forests is very important. Anyway, I digress. So palm oil has been a huge problem for orangutans. Young orangutans are still valued as pets, so same thing as the gorillas. So people want baby orangutans, and so they will go out and shoot the parents to kidnap the babies.
I want to shoot those people.
It's really, really horrible. But there is the Sumatran Orangutan Conservation Program.
Okay.
SOCP. They've rescued over 500 orangutans and have reintroduced over 180 since 2003.
Nice.
And two different locations. 180 from one location and 150 from another location. Big time.
Wow, okay.
Big time. It is the only initiative that is actively establishing a new genetically viable, self-sustaining wild population of a great ape species anywhere in the world.
That's cool.
Yeah, big time. So they're doing really, really great work there. They also do a lot of advocacy. There's a lot of advocacy going on to protect orangutans. It is illegal. It's been banned in Indonesia since 1932 to capture, kill, or harm or trade these apes.
Sure.
The crimes are subject to maximum penalties of 5 years in prison, or about $7,000 and $7,000 in fines, 7,000 USD equivalent-ish.
Sure.
In fines, as of September 2021. One of the cool things about there being legal repercussions is that people know about them.
Sure.
I think that's not just as important, but that's very, very important as a part of it. So they did surveys in the past 2 decades, showed between 73 and 100% of respondents in Kalimantan and Sumatra are aware of the laws that protect orangutans.
Nice.
And the illegality of owning, selling, or killing them. So people know that you're not allowed to do that, which is great.
Yeah.
Which is a great part of enforcement.
Right.
It is not the solution, but
it's a good deterrent. It's better than not.
It's a deterrent. Yeah. Things that you can do to help orangutans. The Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil, also called RSPO, was formed in 2004 in response to palm oil concerns that people have about deforestation. They have production standards for growers that set practices for producing and sourcing palm oil, and this is all over the globe. So if you're in the grocery store and you want to purchase products with sustainable palm oil, you can look for this label. I will say it's not the easiest to find in grocery stores, but if you do see it, buy that product, because demand for food labels and stuff like this is really, really important. If there's demand for it and people are buying things with those labels because they care about the label, then more manufacturers and producers will be motivated to do what they need to do to get that label on their package. So demand is really important, and if you see that label, please support those organizations.
Nice. Once we have quantum computing, we'll be able to figure out how to make our own synthetic version of palm oil.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Soon.
One day.
Qubits.
Yeah. I've got two smaller ones,
Okay.
and I'm going to go off the dome on
Okay.
this one.
Great.
I didn't need to do any research.
Wow.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
The Bald and Golden Eagle Act.
Okay.
Bald eagles, most protection. I have to mention it because like the I don't know of any other laws that are like more stringent than this.
Yeah, America loves bald eagles.
Like if a bald eagle makes a nest in your backyard, your entire property within 300 to 600 feet is now in control by the bald eagles for 8 months out of the year, and you have to abide by them. And I have to work with these laws and U.S. Fish and Wildlife and state agencies all the time when I'm doing eagle camps. So there are two laws that you have to abide by with bald eagles. So you have the Bald and Golden Eagle Act and the Migratory Bird Treaty Act. Migratory Bird Treaty Act isn't as stringent, but it's still something that needs, that has some protections around them. But the Bald and Golden Eagle Act has a few things.
Bald eagles, they're not migratory. Some of them are.
Yeah, no, they're migratory. Yeah.
All of them?
Back when their populations were lower, like most of them did, but now, and then with climate change, you're having a lot less migration from some sets or populations. If there's enough food, they'll just stay there. But if there's not enough food, then they'll migrate up north during the summer.
Got it.
So, so we have you have a radius, that this is the biggest one that most people get upset about, a radius around the bald eagles. You can't approach within 300 feet of that nest during nesting season, and you cannot disturb the nest. Disturb meaning you can't have the eagles abandon it. They can't get spooked. If you get close to there, you can't have them, like it is so strict. And people will report you so fast and you will get fined. You'll probably get a slap on the wrist nowadays because they're not endangered. They are currently unlisted. Their populations are doing just fine. I have those numbers a little bit later, or I can tell you now. Their numbers are nesting pairs in the lower 48 in 2020, last survey, was 74,000. Their lowest numbers were recorded in 1963 at 417 nesting pairs.
Wow.
Due to DDT, which was a pesticide that was spread everywhere. It was cheap, very effective, got into the bald eagle's food source. And when the bald eagles would lay eggs, and this wasn't bald eagles, this was osprey, peregrine falcons, golden eagles, pretty much all birds had issues with this. The parents, when they would roll the eggs, would crack the eggs open because the eggshells were so thin from this pesticide that it was just rare to have a viable offspring. But once they made it out of the egg, if they did, they were fine. So Silent Spring was like the book that like really turned that around. It was like one of the biggest like pivotal pieces of conservation literature in the 21st century that like got people to start paying attention. Anyway, so you have 300 feet that you can't go within, and then there's another 300 feet after that you can't have like construction or loud noises in as well. So 600 feet total. If you are doing construction around a bald eagle's nest, by law, you have to hire an observer, and they are expensive. And
from what entity?
State government and U.S. Fish and Wildlife.
You have to pay for it?
You have to pay for it if you're doing construction around a bald eagle's nest. Yep. So they sit there for the entire time that you're working, watching the bald eagle with the nest with binoculars. And this allows you to keep working around them.
Wow.
Even if you're 600 feet away, if you're still making loud noises, they have to watch them. So my cameras have been installed in construction zones to watch the bald eagle so the observers can watch from home. It is technically a little bit cheaper if your construction project goes a bit longer than like a year because observers are expensive.
Yeah.
$60K, easy.
For what?
For a season.
What?
Yep. Easy. $60K.
I'm shocked that the state doesn't pay for that. This is a different conversation. That's crazy.
Because people are choosing to build next to a bald eagle's nest.
Okay.
The other thing that you can do is pay a ton of money, a lot of lawyer fees, and gets what's called a bald eagle take permit, saying after all this, like, hey, this nest isn't actually viable to the population.
Yeah.
If we actually cause them to abandon it, or we need to take down that tree for some reason, here is $250,000 or whatever the amount is now.
Yeah.
And we can go put another nest somewhere else for them if you want us to, or we're just gonna take that nest down. They'll go build somewhere else.
Huh.
So yeah, there's that.
Okay.
The other thing is you cannot have a feather. Like if you have,
yeah, people don't know this.
if you have a feather, straight to jail. Like they are
Straight
not,
to jail.
they're not messing around. And people are like, oh, it's just a turkey feather. No, straight to jail. And like even like the tiniest ones, like when I'm like rebuilding a nest or up in the nest, like I've had U.S. Fish and Wildlife officials watch me, check my pockets afterwards just to make sure.
Yeah, why would you want that?
And at the time I worked at the American Eagle Foundation and I had permits from the American Eagle Foundation to have them. They were still checking me, but I didn't have any.
Yeah.
So I do want to get a permit to start taking them though and testing them for cortisol.
Okay,
and
sure.
seeing wildlife
That's
populations.
fair. But as like a souvenir thing, I get why like a person would
There's
want
an
that.
illegal market.
What?
Yeah. Okay. So it started, I can't remember, it's like 20 years ago. They started powwows, Native American powwows. They started offering money prizes to like the best dressed performance. I don't know exactly what they would get for it, like what all they had to do. But one of the biggest things was if you had more eagle feathers on, you were more prestigious and more likely to win that prize pool. So what would happen is Native American communities, they're allowed to take feathers a lot easier than us. So people would start shooting them and selling them to Native Americans. They would start, doing other illegal activities like snap and snare them to get those feathers.
Wow.
And then they would buy them and then they'd make money off of it. So that's what U.S. Fish and Wildlife did not want to happen, is there become a market where those feathers have money value. So they're really stringent about it. Even with this administration, they're still pretty stringent, which is nice.
That makes sense.
Yeah. American symbol of freedom. So, I did have one last one, which is interesting. It's a fast one. So, Germany has a bunch of Cold War era bases. 62 of them, to be exact, are being turned back into nature preserves, but there's a few that stay semi-active. And they do lots of tank training there, and they protect the wildlife there. They find them very valuable to Germany, and this is a military. Just like this is like the only place where like endangered species are at in Germany. In some places, like salamanders, badgers, it is like a safe. They love nature. Like
wow. Okay, so it's just like a cultural like we care about
in Germany. Like in their
Imagine
constitution, like you got to take care of like cats and dogs. Like it's very hard to adopt. Like I heard the other day, if you adopt a cat in Germany, you need to adopt them in pairs, and and if you let them outside, they have to be spayed and neutered. And like there's cats.
Any Germans listening to this podcast? Is that true? Crazy.
It's awesome. Anyway, so here is a video of a documentary that we are allowed to play.
Okay.
About this battle or this old army base that is heavily protected still.
Okay.
And helps out these wildlife.
Cool.
Actually, only soldiers are allowed in this restricted military area. But fallow deer don't follow orders.
They're so cute.
Some of the herds on the military training area number up to 100 deer, which is not often seen in Germany. Because of all the unexploded ordnance, it's strictly keep out for human beings, which suits the fallow deer just fine. Live munitions have been used on the training ground for 130 years.
Jeez.
Civilians are seldom allowed to drive through the area. Getting out of vehicles is strictly forbidden. Behind the gates and fences, a natural paradise has developed, the size of 40,000 football pitches.
That's good there. So it's we have a picture of a map as well of the base, but it's pretty large.
Reclaimed.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look at that. I mean, that's huge.
That's huge.
It's still run by the UK.
Yeah.
And they do a lot of the UK government and military pays for like a lot of conservation work here.
Wow.
which is really cool.
Neat.
But the unexploded ordnance does sometimes take out the animals, or it explodes. It's rare
That
though.
Sucks.
But there's one last quick video, like with the tanks. I got to show the tanks.
Connor loves tanks.
Look at this; it's so cool. All you listeners, beautiful new tank.
It's like a fan
Germany's
cam of a
armed
tank.
forces use part of the military zone for tank training.
But the
Is this
tanks
your
have
dream?
value. Wait,
The tracks of the assault tanks gouge deep wounds into the earth. Devastation that has surprisingly positive aspects.
all right, that's good there. Surprising aspects. Giving places when it rains for amphibians
Tilling.
to lay, like a lot of endangered amphibians to lay their eggs.
Wow.
Insects love it. Birds love it. Like it, and it
Sure.
brings in new growth as well, which is interesting. So I didn't see anything that they're actually live firing the tanks.
Yeah.
If they do, I hope they're checking the range so there's no animals out there. But it's also really good to have all that growth, the forest growth around there, and be healthy because it absorbs the sound of the
Yeah.
training and helps reduce ricochets into civilian populations.
Right. Well, tanks is a conservation strategy.
Yeah.
Connor stream. All right. Thank you guys for listening to this episode. Next week's episode, I promise, will be nothing but fun. We have nothing depressing to talk about next week.
Yeah.
I have nothing depressing to talk about next week.
I don't either. It's gonna be a great time.
You're going to love it. It's going to be cute and wholesome and fun. So we'll see you next week. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.